Hey, good day, everyone. Bert Salazar here. I'm going to be sharing with you the three-bucket exercise that we use with every one of our clients when it comes to retirement distribution planning. And also when it comes to longevity planning as well. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and just share my screen with all of you so we can discuss the three-bucket scenario. Now, we at Cambridge use a three-bucket scenario from two different perspectives. One is longevity planning, and then the second one is tax planning. So we're going to address the longevity planning scenario first. So as you see in front of you, you have three buckets, and from a longevity standpoint, we want to make certain that our clients are planning for at least 30 years or 3 decades of retirement distribution. And we call those three buckets from a longevity perspective, the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. Go-go years are between the ages of 65 and 75. You just retire, you're excited about retirement, your spouse is just excited as you are, so you're going to be spending more money in retirement than you ever did before. You're going to be traveling quite a bit. You're going to be seeing the entire world, depending on, how it is, how you enjoy traveling. So you're going to be doing some things and a lot of things that you have been planning on doing for decades, but now it's time to get it done. Once you get into your mid-70s, then you go from the go-go years to the slow-go years. You're not traveling as much. You're staying closer to home. You may be spending more and more time with your family and your grandchildren and your children. You may not be as healthy as you were in the first 10 years of retirement because life is catching up to you and to all of us as it does every single time. Now, it depends for everybody. I have clients of mine that are in the mid-70s, early 80s, and they're still in their go-go years. So they're very healthy, they're very passionate about what they're doing in life, and they're traveling quite a bit. But for the vast majority of Americans, you're going to have 3 periods: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. So again, the slow-go years go from the ages of 75 to 85 on the average. And then once you hit your mid-80s, you go into what we consider to be the no-go years. Now, in the no-go years, things are going to slow down significantly. You're going to be home primarily the vast majority of the time. You're not going to do a lot of traveling, and if you do so, it's going to be short planning and short travel. Pretty much, you're not going to be as healthy, more than likely, as you were in your 60s, in your go-go years, or even your 70s in the slow-go years. So things are going to slow down quite significantly. Now, obviously the assets that you're going to have in your go-go years and the slow-go years and the no-go years, many times are going to be totally different from one another. Now, there are some assets that are going to be transposing, and they're going to work congruently with the 3 buckets because these are going to be your guaranteed assets in retirement, which are going to be very, very important for all of you. And the second way that at Cambridge we use the 3-bucket scenario is from a taxable standpoint. So the first bucket would be your taxable bucket. And those are the assets that you're going to have there, which are taxed on an annual basis. These are going to be your savings accounts, your mutual funds, traditional mutual funds, your CDs. These assets are going to be taxed every single year. So you're going to get that beautiful love letter called 1099, which you're going to have to report for taxes every single year. The second bucket there would be your tax deferred bucket. Now, that's a bucket that many of us have a tendency to understand. That's going to be your tax deferred bucket. There, you're going to have your 401ks, you're going to have your IRAs, you may have your deferred comp, you may have your pension income, you may also have your 403b if you're a nonprofit or a public employee. So obviously the assets inside the tax deferred bucket many a times go in on a pre-tax basis. They grow tax deferred, and then when you pull the money out, you will pay taxes on the whole thing. Obviously, most of us understand that bucket fairly well because that's the bucket that the majority of Americans have been using for retirement for quite some time. And then last but not least, the third bucket will be your tax-free bucket. Of all three buckets, that's a bucket that is least understood by the vast majority of Americans. Now, the type of products that go into that bucket are your municipal bond funds, your Roth IRAs, your Roth 401ks, and your 7702 plans. Now, what is interesting to note, and one of the major differences between all three buckets from a taxable standpoint, is that the vast majority of clients that I engage for the first time, they're actually paying more money in taxes than they ever need to. Why is that? Well, primarily because the vast majority of their assets are located either in the taxable bucket or the tax deferred bucket. Very, very few Americans are truly maximizing the tax-free bucket, which is going to be the most important bucket in retirement for you and your family, especially since there's a very high probability that taxes are going to be a lot higher in the future than they are today. So again, our number one goal here at Cambridge, and my number one goal in working with many of you in the future, is I want to help you change the way that you see things. Because when you change the way that you see things, the things that you see change. So again, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. Pay attention to your three bucket scenario. Make sure that if you're working with other financial advisors, that you bring that issue or concern to them and have them address it on your behalf. Again, thank you for your time today. See you soon.